Hello everybody, Mike Arnold here, co-founder of Patrick and Partners on with Bob Iacchino. Going to do a big picture overview of Bitcoin and Ethereum to satisfy some requests. It's really gone nowhere since yesterday, so there's nothing to report on the daily and the 4-hour. Everything remains the same. Been getting some questions. Do we see any similarities to last year going into the fourth quarter, and also big picture overview. So big picture on Bitcoin, this is a weekly chart. We're still below the rotation zone on a weekly basis. It is starting to flatten out. You can see here we're in this huge massive consolidation phase. Now last fall we were still making higher highs and higher lows and ramping up. We really broke out. We did at the end of October, retest the rotation zone, and then a huge momentum move up in November. Now, you can't really determine seasonality based off of one season, and way back when there was too little price data when it was really, really cheap to make an assessment. So we can't say there's a seasonal component to a fourth quarter run-up. What I will, though, watch for is if we do break out towards the end of October, beginning of November. Remember, last year was also election year for the presidential cycle. In the U.S. This year is just the midterm elections. But if we do have a massive breakout, a momentum breakout, we'll just play it long. What we really need to do is, to really have a momentum breakout, is to get really above 8,200 on a closing basis. That's above these candle body highs right here. The closing basis here was 82.21, so a close above that, especially on a weekly basis, could be leading to some kind of momentum breakout. Or conversely, if we do break down below these lows of about 57.55, we could see further sell-off. But that's really the two big levels I'm watching for, besides the lower levels we talk about on a daily basis. If we do break to the upside, the first target I'll be watching for is about 96.50. Next target we'll be watching for then would be about 11,500. Break to the lower, first area we'd be watching is about 45.50. Then we'd be watching down to the 200-week moving average and this prior little resistance becoming support area at about 3,000. Switching over to Ethereum, you see Ethereum last fall was also in consolidation, but it was we had a rising rotation zone. Similarly, it broke out. This one waited to break out until about mid to end of November. This year we're below the rotation zone, and this hasn't been in consolidation that long. We keep making lower key lows and lower key highs. In order for me to get really bullish on Ethereum, I need to see a very strong move up and at least get above the 373, preferably about the 400 level. This is going to be some major resistance, and just above that you have these little dips, and you have the rotation zone declining. So that's really about it. Now, it's just not very strong. On a first power move back off, about 292 to 300 is going to be major resistance. So I need to see some really strong bars. Like the last fall we had this breaking out, so you had this major consolidation, then this was a nice strong bar breaking out. Couple week return to the rising rotation zone, then another power bar up. We'd have to see just as we were seeing these breakdown bars, like you see these couple weeks here, big bars, consolidation, big bars, consolidation, big bar, big bar. We need to see the opposite coming to the upside. So we need to see at least one or two very key strong moves up to really get some momentum going. If that doesn't happen, we have our longer term levels, and it's just not a lot to report with Ethereum. I'd be more interested in Bitcoin than Ethereum if we had some strong up moves, unless I see some really key breakout bars on Ethereum. Other than that, everything's the same in consolidation. Nothing else to report on the daily. You can see here in the 4-hour, it's just holding still, and there's very little trading unless you're going to do some scalping, buy support, sell resistance. But we're not really interested in doing that for these larger term pictures. We'll talk to everyone soon. If you have more questions, put them in the comments. We will always read them when we can and try to answer as many questions as we can. Bye for now.